Well, Larry, you're here. Get one more in you, a couple more in you. How much longer we got?
To God say I got to stop. You know what I mean? That's it.
Did you think any this offseason, going out on top, winning a national championship, those class? I know how important those guys were, you, Jack and JT. That maybe that was the time. What was the thought process for you this offseason?
Never thought about it. You know, it's just on to the next guys, a group of guys that I brought in. I think about getting those guys out. So no, that wasn't a thought. It's a nice thought, but it wasn't my thought to do that.
What excites you about this challenge this year of having to replace that whole defensive line?
Yeah, that's coaching. I mean, that's what coaching is all about. Each year you got a different group of guys, and now we have to rebuild from the bottom again. And we've done it a couple of times since I've been here, so it's just another opportunity to see who's going to step to the plate with the yardstick.
Is it kind of invigorating or reinvigorating to know? I mean, as much as you love those guys, you got a whole new group. Yeah. They've been there a while, but they haven't started.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really is what I think it's coaches all about. Can you do it again? Can you get a bunch of young guys to play at the highest level every day? And so that is a challenge. So, but that's what you get up in the morning, come to work for, look for a challenge. So I love challenges. It's been my life.
And those guys did play a lot. The guys who were going to step up, Kenyatta and Kane and all those guys. But how realistic is it for them to have the same kind of production and performance that those guys had last year? Or is it just the standard the same?
Yeah, I don't know where you can put production on those guys yet. They played a lot, but what you got to look at is that they haven't played 40 plays, 50 plays in a game. They played 20, 25 plays coming in as a substitute. When you're a starter, that's a different ball game. And so those guys got to learn how to play on the field longer. And that's something we got to build through spring and in the summer and get ready to go to fall camp. And so we're not there yet, but the opportunity to kind of build this is going to be the challenge. That's what we're working on right now.
Who are the guys who you look at who can be leaders of this defensive line this year?
It's hard to say. Point one guy out. It's got to be the whole unit. You got to move the whole unit in the right direction, right? You can't move one guy without moving 10 guys. And so my philosophy is we got to move the whole unit, find a leader as we go. But right now, it's everybody's got baby stuff. Everybody's working, trying to learn how to do it the right way. Because now there's nobody in front of them. They're at. And so that's a different mindset.
How do you plan to handle Edger this spring, where he plays at? I mean, I know you need help on the edge, but obviously
he's going to play 3 technique. That's where he feels comfortable playing now. He's 285, 290, and we don't want to switch him again. And so I think that he'll give her some inside rush at the 3 tech position. So I think he's very comfortable with doing that now. He helped us out to get through our stretch, and now he feel like, hey, coach, I can do this. I have a chance to start in the fall. So that's kind of motivation for him.
Still very early, obviously. But who are some of the guys you expect that you need to contribute on the edge to give you that depth that you need?
They're all 10, 12's got to go, man. I'm just telling you, we got to get everybody ready to play. It's hard to say who's going to be the guys right now because we haven't hit spring football. We're in the condition, in the mental part of the things that we do now. But I think as times get on, going into the fall camp and go to some more conditioning, we have an idea who's going to jump to the front. But it's a challenge right now. That's a good thing.
Larry, how about the dynamic? Obviously, new defensive coordinator and everyone else is here. Just talk about the way this is coming together. How much change do you think we'll see with this defense?
Well, I think, first of all, Coach Papacher's a great coach. They're very smart, and he's done a good job of introducing what he feels is his philosophy, trying to merge 2 different things together, not take a lot away, but kind of do his own thing. And it's a great defensive scheme to play in, but he's more, I guess he talked earlier, more about getting guys in the right position to really contribute to the game. I think that's the biggest thing you take from it. So I think it's coming together real well. I mean, he's on the ground 3 weeks trying to put this thing together. We got a really great staff in the room with us to kind of pull this together. But I'm really excited about what he brings to the table and where we go from here defensively.
How did this run re-energize you?
It does. You like life. Things challenge you again, right? You're all about a challenge, and this is a challenge. And I look forward to it. Run through it head on, see what happens, right? And that's what it's all about. That's why I get up here and more excited about these group of guys because you get to mold them the right way again. Yeah.
Matt's been a multiple guy, four-man club.
We'll be a multiple defense. And that's the thing that I think that he wants to do. We've done that before, so it's just a matter of continuing to do that a different way.
How much of an adjustment is that for you? Because you've been a 4-3 guy.
4-3, you take a 4-3, everybody's confused that I'm a 4-3 guy, but really, when you take a 4-3, you take ends, stand them up, you can slide to a 3-4 just like that. And that's multiple defense without changing any personnel. And so it's a 4-man brunt, but we can go to a 3-man, a 4-man, a 5-man, 6-man in a heartbeat with the guys on the field. So I think that we've been multiple, but we keep saying it's a 4-man front. but it can be interchangeable for you.
More semantics than anything.
Yeah, that's it. It's all semantics. How you look at it. Everyone can say it's four-man front. Not really when you kind of start the pieces. The four guys can stay on the field, and you can pop JT or pack KJ up. And next thing you know, it looks like a 3-4. But it's four guys on the field playing that's been in the game. And so I think that we kind of lose how you can play defense now because you can't substitute every play to get a new person on. So those guys got to be to play from a 4-man to a 3-man or whatever happens. You have to be ready to do that.
Do you think you'll have more opportunities to coach CJ Hicks this year? What would you envision for a role for him?
Well, he's with me right now. So CJ is with me right now and trying to learn how to play the position. And I want him to learn how to play the position as a defensive end, stand up. We get to that moment, and not as a linebacker. I think that's the transition. He's got to go through. He's done an outstanding job thus far. He's bought in to what we're doing, and I think that's the key. When the guy buy in, is like, this is what I want to do, and he has a really good skill set, so we can use him in a lot of ways. But we don't want to use him just third down, right? We want to use him first and second down. So my job is to get him ready to play the run from on the line of scrimmage, as opposed to being in space. That's different. And once we accomplish as we go, then I think he'll give a chance to give us some great depth and really do some good things for us. I'm excited about him because he's really excited about the position change.
Larry, when you talk about being multiple, how impactful can a guy like CJ be because of his versatility, whether stand up?
That's a bonus if you can do that, right? Because he stays on the field. Then you bring a guy from space, you can drop him from space, or you can blitz him. And I think that as we go forward, I think we'll try to build that. We just can't build it around one guy. You got to build out what capable he can do on the field. And so, like I said, it's early stage, so it's hard to say this is what we're going to do because we're just putting it together. But I know that CJ is very happy where he's at. He seems to have a really good time understanding what we're doing. And so we'll look how it goes from there.
What did you see from him last year that made you think that he could be impactful?
Well, we know he can rush. He's got great speed off the edge. He really can get off the ball. That we know that. Now, like I said before, can he play on a tight end and a 6 technique? Standing up in the 2 feet play. That's the thing he has to learn how to do. Once he masters that, the rush stuff will come easy because now he's on the field. And that's what we try to work on as we get going into it. We can walk out of spring with him feel really good about playing a run and rushing the passer. And we got a bonus, and that's the goal.
During camp last year, you mentioned Josh Mickens, the guy who was coming on pretty quickly. Where did he end the season, and how close do you think he is to being a guy who is going to factor into your game?
I think as we move forward, I think he has to factor in. I think every guy is factoring right now because of the depth, right? So we're losing some great players, and now we're going to get these young guys ready fast, and so we're going to need all hands on deck.
Your room typically has guys who start to show it in year 2.
Yes, if I would have.
It just seems like a trend. They start showing in year 2, and then they kind of burst on this year in the interviews. With a guy like Jason, I've talked to him a lot. Just didn't seem to come together in year 2. How can he kind of make up for that and get to where you need him to be, not just where you need him to be for year 3, where he's probably more necessary than he was last year?
Yeah, I think Jason's got to play football. He's got to play more football in live situation, right? So he didn't get a lot of shots playing in games. And so this off season is his biggest off season. I've said to him, we were in conversation that this is a year, this is the time. The process is now built. Now he's got to go. And I think he's ready for that challenge. So I'm looking for great things for him as go forward. He seems to be in a good space right now. I like where he's at. So, but we got a lot of days to go to get him ready. So I'm very confident he'll be ready.
Larry, I guess the same thing when it comes to Will. He's injured, I think, his freshman year. Hasn't really played a lot of football for you. Is it kind of the same thing with him, or is it a little different with him?
A little different. We changed his position a little bit, trying to find the right fit for him. He went from a 3-tech to a nose guard, so I think we're going to play a little bit 1-tech. I'm really pleased where he's at right now. He's gotten stronger, he's got bigger, he's quicker. And so I'm looking forward to as we go into the spring football, how he comes out. But so far, so good. I think he has a chance to help us.
What made Jackson played a good number of snaps for you guys, 300 plus last year. But what does he need to do to be ready to take on an even bigger role this year?
Well, he's got to be our leader, first of all. So that's our role for him that he has not been in. He's going to be the leader, move the unit. And so far, he's doing a great job doing that. Now he's going to be the guy who's going to have to demonstrate the production for us and move the stick for us, yard stick for us in our defensive end. And I think he has a chance to do that. Now he's going to play 40, 50 plays, so we'll see him more. And I think we'll see his talent come to front.
What made you want to bring in Logan George, and how do you see him fitting into this?
Well, you look for a fit, right? The most important thing, he fit. Does it fit our defense? Does it fit our scheme? Does it fit our culture? That's all important when you bring a guy in from the port. It's got to be a fit. And sitting and talking to him, talking to the family, talking to his coach was really, really raved about him as a player. And then once we sit down and met and talk, I felt like he fit our room. He had great character, can rush. You know what I mean? He plays hard, and everything you want to see, you got to have, he has. And so I'm looking forward to see where he goes from here. Yeah.
Larry, is there anything he's from the same hometown as Tommy Togiai? I didn't know
Yeah,
there was any connection.
same high school.
Yeah, was there anything with the Togiais that helped you learn more about Logan?
Yeah, well, not necessarily about learn, but I know the head coach really well. And the minute I picked up the phone and called him, I mean, he gave rave reviews as a player, as a person, you know, and that was a hint for me because you're going to have some information. And then the head coach was just loved him because couldn't stop talking about him as a player and as a person. And so when I brought him in and talked to him, mom and dad, and set him down, like, wow, it was pretty good.
What do you need to see from a guy like him to know that can translate to Ohio State? Because this is like, well, it's actually quite literally the top of the sport right now.
Yeah.
So how do you know that that's going to translate from FCS?
Based on what I've seen thus far, the skill set is there. It's going to translate.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to translate. If not, I made a huge mistake.
No, I was just more
Yeah,
curious.
it's going to translate. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like it was a big moment now, right? But he's done a great job. I can tell you that. I'm really looking forward to him, and he's been all business, and that's what you want. He's a great leader in the room. He's helping the young guys, but he goes on the field, he works, and that's what I want. Yeah.
Larry, I think this is something that probably all of us have talked about at times over the years. So I'll just ask it straight.
Yep.
Was there anything in Jim Knowles' time here where his style of defense and your style of defense did not exactly mesh?
No, never.
Why do you think we think that?
Because you guys think he's a 3-4. You guys looked at his system at Oklahoma and thought that way he's going to bring the jack thing here. You know what I mean? That's what we thought, right? And so when you looked at that, everybody was looking for a 3-4 defense.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, we have all these 4-3 guys here. And so you have to change the way you recruit. You're going to change the defense, the scheme set, right? And I think we tried Jack Sawyer at that position to do it, right? And then as the season went on and teams were playing offensively, you know what I mean? It was predicated to more having 4 guys on the field and changing it up. So it was never what like I don't chase stories and lies out there because nobody's asking me this question here first. But Jim and I had a really great conversation about what we're doing. There was never a moment where hey, I don't want the 3-4. There was never that. It's like, what's the best fit for our players and how can we get them on the field and compete? And that was always the conversation with us, and to this day. And the story was made up about it was conflict. There was no conflict. Maybe because I said, well, I don't know what the jack. You know, I don't know what. At that time, we don't know what we're going to do with the jack. And I knew that we felt Jack Sawyer was a decision between coach and I that, like, let's get Jack Sawyer back to defensive end, and that's when let's go to another jack position guy to do it. But we never did it again. You know, we never got back to a full defense because it changed what you do. No question about it. It's a different scheme, a different thing we do, and you got to live by it. In the Big Ten offense, man, there's so many different ways, formations, that you can get that guy caught in the alley and trying to play that. You know, so it's tough.
How much did it bother you that
about-
that story?
Yeah.
That that story was out there. How much did it bother you that the story was out there that you and those weren't seeing eye to eye, et cetera? Maybe even fight.
Here's what I say to you. It doesn't bother me because I know who I am as a man, as a person, right? And so I'm never going to chase lies that people are talking about what I did. And I was amazing. Like people sent it to me and I refused to read it because that's not who I am. I mean, Jim and I had a great relationship. It never came down to that. I don't have an ultimatum. It was never that. But the story got created, which is unfair, but it got created somehow with someone on a podcast, I guess trying to get clicks or something. I don't know, man. I don't read that stuff. But no, that it didn't bother me because I'm not chasing a lie. I know who I am as a person. I speak very high in my character who I am. And I've been in this business a long time. You know, I don't have to go throw chairs in the room to make my point, right? You know what I mean? I have an opinion. I give that opinion. We agree, walk down the room, what we're going to do, and we go forward. And I think you saw that this season. We played really well as a unit. We played well as a staff. How much testimony do you need?
Yeah, well, I sorry, when you think about, especially the way the defense played down the stretch, second half of the year in the playoff, when you think about staff, players, talent, experience coming together, just what's your evaluation of how the Ohio State defense played on the way to a national championship?
I think they played light out. I think they played close as a unit. I thought they had a lot of pride about what they were doing, and they were on a mission. They really were. After the team of North game, you knew that it was going to change, and it did. I mean, it's a proud moment as a coach to see guys play the way they play. I mean, everything came to the top, and that's what you want. At the greatest moment of all, it happened from these guys, and I couldn't be more proud of how they played down the stretch. And every day they came to work. Every day they came to work. Never one moment where they like, hey, coach, no, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, you have to be in the rooms and know and in practice and see exactly what's going on. Every day those guys were preparing for every game the right way.
And that's why you keep doing it. That's why
it's fun. I mean, like why stop something you really love? Because you know that it's a moment. Like I said this before. I said to the young guys, talking about the 4 guys up front, right? We're doing this for them. They came back for a reason, and we have to give them everything we got to make sure they reach their goal. And that was every day in my meeting. Like, don't forget why we're doing this. It's why we have to go hard, because of these 4 guys here. They came back to do this again for us, and hopefully win the championship. And that was my passion. I walked in every single day. I was not going to let those guys down. And that kind of permeated throughout our whole room. And that's the way we approach every game, every season, every day. We talked about that. We're not going to make that. It became personal because you felt a connection to these 4 guys that gave you everything they got. And you felt like you had to give them something back. So every day I walk in the room and say, I'm not going to fail you. I'm going to give you everything I got. Everything I got, every day. Because I want you to be successful. And that last game, walking off the field, tears in all of our eyes, you felt that relief, like, wow, we did it. You just looked at each other and said, we did it. Because we believed in each other. Right?
Follow up on the 4-3-3-4 thing you were talking about. Obviously, you got a lot of guys just walk out the door.
Yeah.
And the primary reason for why that 4-3-4-2-5 kind of made sense.
Yeah.
With that much turnover, essentially, are you open to the idea of maybe the front's changing a little bit more this year, based on where the depth might be this year, if that were the case?
I'm always open to change because it's all about winning. It's all about putting our kids in the best position to be in. Like, I don't know where this concept comes that I'm holding things back. I don't have any way. You know what I mean? I just want to be a coach, right? And whatever you tell me a coach, I'm a coach. That's the way I am. You know? So just unfortunate that this 3-4 to 4-3 doesn't really matter what we play. As long as we're successful in what we're doing and put our players in the best position to be successful. That should be the bottom line. Where you're 4-3, 4-3, 5-6, doesn't matter. Are our players in the best position to play and to win? That's it. That shouldn't matter. Because you start getting caught up like, we're going to do this, and we don't have the personnel to do this, but we're still playing it. And the story is where Ohio State can't play the 3-4 because they're not good enough, right? Like it can't be that, right? You know, I think you're a multiple defense, and that's what we are. We can find a way to use our players in the best position possible to be successful. I think you have to do that. And I think I've gone to, 6 defensive coordinator, right? Yeah. And so the change is always revolving, right? And so you have to adapt to the change. But I'm all in. It's going to get us in best position. Our players will play as fast as they can to whatever you play. I'm all in. So there's no resistance from Coach Johnson. Like, you've got to be a 4-man front. You know, we can be what we want to be if the personnel fit what we're trying to do. You know, so last thing I'm going to say, it's not schemes. It's Jimmy the Joes. Right? And so we can talk scheme all you want, 3-4, wherever we have. But at the end of the day, it's those guys up front, the guys in the back half, and we're all on the same page to play the best possible defense we play.
Does that same approach?
That's matter.
Does that same approach relate to rotation?
No doubt. No doubt. Never going to change.
So you don't have a particular
Last question
philosophy
for Coach
on
Johnson.
How much you want to rotate versus
I do.
the guys
I
you have
I go into the game with the idea of exactly what I want to do. Who's going to rotate, who's ready. It's not necessarily rotating, who's ready to rotate to go into the game, because you can't put a guy in a position where he's going to fail because you didn't get him ready to play. And I'm really big in that. If they're ready to go and ready to play, let's go play.
Larry, you won a national championship your first year here.
Yeah,
You didn't
2014.
recruit those guys. These guys you did recruit. Was it more special because you've gone through 4 years
Yeah.
with those guys?
It is. I mean, I tell people all the time, what happened this year is really special because you've been with a group of guys and you've been around, you brought them in, and all of a sudden the ultimate goal is to try to win that national championship. And then we get it done with the same guys that we brought in. To me, that's what coach is all about, man. It's a great moment. Yeah.
Coach, thank